Hello, welcome back to my channel. All things new about D&D, the only place to learn for noobs that are not geniuses. I'm your host, Tim Dorban. Welcome back. Now, today we're going to be talking about a variety of things, starting with a love affair. If you're going to get involved in Dungeons & Dragons, you're going to have to make peace with the love affair you're going to have for dice. I have never known a D&D player not to have a huge collection of dice. Now, I'm trying to restrain myself. I have a fairly large collection, I'd say. Uh, keeping it simple. I have probably 20 sets of dice. The 20-sided die right here is the where the guts of the story are going to be told. Now, this little beauty is where the action of the game comes from. The chances of failure, the chances of success at anything from observing your surroundings to smacking somebody in the face with a stick comes from this. You're going to roll, and some pretty spectacular things have happened. Successes, they're fun. It's great to be the action hero. The failures can be pretty comical. Uh, attempting something and failing can be just as rewarding, especially for your character's personality to come out. That's the surprising thing, but I digress. Uh, yes, the dice. Now here we have the 12-sided dice. Not going to use it that much, but when you do use it, it's very rewarding because of the range, the rush that you get from when you use this for damage and you roll a high damage score. It's freaking fantastic. You get a little adrenaline rush when you roll an 11 on a 12-sided dice and you smack the hell out of somebody, or if you roll a 12, the maximum amount of hit points for your barbarian character. That's another example. So that's a good one. And what we have next on the hit parade is the 10-sided dice. Hello, Mr. 10-sided, and his companion. So you can get a random roll between 1 and 100. The 10-sided dice is pretty good. Some of the weapons that you're going to be using use this for damage. The 1 to 100 is the really big random rolls, which would revolve around the tables where a lot of things can possibly happen. So that's the wide variety of that. Like, for instance, the Wild Magic Surge table is the one that springs to mind. See what kind of crazy stuff can happen. Next, we have the 8-sided dice. Most of the weapon damage you're going to run into is this little sucker. Most of the hit points you're going to roll for your character come from this as well. I find it handy to have a collection of these ready to roll for different attacks. Mainly paladins will require you to have a lot of these. And then the lonely little 4-sided dice. Isn't it cute? This kind of stuff you're going to use for the little bonuses that can give you the edge that you need to succeed. Um, rogues can use these, and monks for the damage that they do. They get a fat bonus to go along with this, but that would be that. So next, I wanted to address that. I wanted to expand a little bit more on what I said about dungeon mastering. Back in the day when I was a youth, I had my enthusiasm and my little player's handbook, and I just wandered into the D&D community. I I was my enthusiasm was pretty thoroughly crushed. Um, it seems that the dungeon masters that I found at the time had some kind of god complex where they wanted to, you know, it's just sad. I got the feeling that they had no control over their life and they felt small and helpless. So, by golly, now that they have command of an entire world and group of characters, put them through the paces and make them feel small and humiliated. So I feel better about myself. So yeah, I didn't have any patience for that. It's again, it's a very complex game. You get out of it what you put into it. If you just hang on to that enthusiasm and just roll forward, things are going to go great. Um, it's going to be just a world of experiences that you can talk to about just fun, nerdy stuff with your friends, and a wide array of interesting people that you'll run into. So I'd like to expand a little bit more on sharing the burden of dungeon mastering. A helpful tool would be things can get kind of out of hand when you're trying to organize a whole combat of things that are going on at once, and a person has a pet or a follower or a friend that they're trying to follow around. They can be hard to keep track of. So you could just hand it off to one of your players. You can say, "Here you go. You be this guy, and you figure out what he's doing while I'm figuring out the rest of it." Um, a little bit about my philosophy of play. Um, the core rule that I have as a dungeon master is the player, the players at the table. They are the heroes. Um, try to think about um, what different heroic fiction that you enjoy. There are people out there that like to have heroes that fail, that have a challenge, that well, let's be honest, they die. Uh, oh shucks, and they just move on with it. I don't have patience for that. Um, the So yeah, that's the one inviolate rule that I have. That being said, I am a big believer in what's known in the gaming community as a DMPC. Um, I've suffered under people that play DMPCs. They It's almost as if the characters that are sitting around the table that his players play are just witnesses to the glorious heroics that the the DM is trotting out for everybody to admire. So, didn't like that. So, that being said, I like the idea because I don't know. I guess I feel a certain amount of bitterness that I wasn't able to be a player. I wanted to start off with a long time of being a player and just enjoying playing the game. And I don't think it was the people at the time that I was involved with weren't very receptive to that. Um, it was kind of a thing that people were, the dungeon masters at the time were kind of a dick. So, by golly, I feel like I missed out on just being a good player. So I want to bring my characters in. I want to share my share of the spotlight. I felt like I didn't have enough of an opportunity to keep me happy, but I'm focused on the players being the heroes. Like I said, I'm not going to make my characters glorious while everybody else sucks. If you follow my character's advice and you're in my campaign, that is not going to help you out much. I like to play characters that are kind of clueless, they're kind of stumbling around the world that I've created. Also, I'm I love the game. I just love the game. I love to play it. Um, I like to tinker with the rules, and people are big into character death. I was stunned when I looked around in the D&D world and I saw that there was a thing called TPK, Total Party Kill. I couldn't believe that was even a thing that existed. When if you look into hero fiction, you're not going to see, there's exceptions, of course. There's Quentin Tarantino. I know he's and let's see, the Walking Dead stuff. Nobody's safe. It's always possible that somebody dies, and people feel that's what keeps the adrenaline rush going, is the possibility of death and the character dying. There's enough of that in real life, to be perfectly honest. People die. Uh, you don't need to have your nose shoved in it, and the heroes of stories don't really get the cheap dramatic thrill of having somebody die. And when somebody does die in a story, there's usually a dramatic moment it seems like it's very well planned out rather than just, oh, you rolled bad on your dice, so you're dead. Oh, okay. Well, let me watch while everybody else has fun, and I just, you know, sit in a corner and sketch. That seems totally unfair to me. Um, so yeah, mortality. Thinking about your own mortality, leave it to the philosophers. In my humble opinion, um, there's enough of a thrill in the game for me just using the fun and the strategy and the drama with the rules as they stand. Um, you want to disagree with me, be my guest, but that's just my own game. Um, Mortality plays a small role, and it seems like the rules reflect that. Um, the if you play your cards right, killing a character is a difficult enterprise. I think, thank goodness. Um, so let me just end this by saying that there's there seems to be a philosophy peeking out between the rules of the game of they want it to they want you to tinker with it. They want you to change it and expand on it. And I like that. I like that you can bring your own vision into the game and expand on the things you like and throw the things out that you don't like. There's all kinds of stuff in the game to where this rule you have to do this way. And fifth edition comes along and just kind of throws that idea out the window and says, play the way you want. Pull inspiration from all the wide variety of characters and fiction and things that inspire you. So great job to the D&D Wizards of the Coast people. You have a fan. It's in great hands. Taking it out of the hands of TSR and into the hands of Wizards of the Coast. They know what they're doing. It's fun and exciting and interesting for an old school nerd like this. Thanks. Bye.